Now for the basket base, we're going to be doing a radial symmetry design. It's already round, so a radial symmetry design will work really well for this. I used to teach radial symmetry to 4th grade when I also worked at the elementary schools. And here are some that I made kind of as examples when the 4th graders would do the radial symmetry projects. And radial symmetry is symmetry that radiates outward, and if you around like a central point, and if you turn it and you rotate it, it should look kind of like the same. It's also called rotational symmetry. So these are just some examples. Here's one by a 4th grader from, it's one that I had left over. I think maybe somebody moved. Collage. Here's another one by a 4th grader. Hot air balloon. And here's one I just found in a magazine with Legos. Now, Brooklyn, you'll be starting a radial symmetry design on here. First, peel off the sticker from your basket base. Yeah, grab it by the corner as much as possible. And if one corner won't work, you can try a different corner. It's hard to do that with short nails, isn't it? But you got it. Yeah, try to like use your nail and get that little part off. Good job. And let's see if I can try to. Some of this, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna get covered up with paint anyway. This one, by the way, was a 5-inch base, and this is a 4-inch base. We'll be using the 4-inch bases. And now you're going to take this protractor and try to find what you think is the middle of the circle, and you'll line up the protractor, which also can be used as a ruler. We're using it as a ruler right now, and we're just using it as a straight edge right now, just trying to find straight edge. And you can even, I recommend actually maybe making a mark in the middle, just where you think the middle is, and then line up the protractor and hold it with one hand and trace along the straight edge with your pencil. So we're just kind of cutting the circle in half with a pencil line. And, oh, good job. It looks like it's perfectly in the middle. Now we're going to be doing a little bit of measuring. We're going to use the ruler part again. We know that this is 4 inches, so we're going to be, oh, it's upside down. There we go. We're going to be lining the end of the protractor up with the end of the circle, like the edge of it, and making a mark at half of 4, which is what, Brooklyn? What's half of 4? 2. Yep. So you'll line it up and then make a little mark at the 2. So you're lining it along with the line, the pencil line, and making a mark at the 2. It's hard to get a view of that because you're right-handed. All right. Now that you've made a mark at the 2, you're going to take the protractor and line it up with that mark and try to have it perpendicular. Did y'all already learn about perpendicular lines of math? You know, like a plus sign with the 4 right angles, or like a cross. All right, and then if you do this and it doesn't look like 4 equal sections, then you can always adjust and erase and redraw it. It should be like a plus with right angles, like 90-degree corners, like the corner of a square. This looks great. Now you're going to be using the angle measuring part of the protractor. Brooklyn, have you already done this in math, like learned how to use protractors?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then you know first to kind of line up the hole in the protractor with like the center.
Yeah.
So can you line up that hole? That's the center part of the angle with where the 2 lines intersect, and then I'll hold this steady for you. It should be, and it is, that the 90 is lined up with that line because you've lined it up correctly. Now you're going to find maybe have someone hold this for you when you're drawing, like I'm holding it for Brooklyn. You're going to make a mark at the 45 with your pencil. So you're going to come over here to between the 40 and the 50 and make a little mark at the 45. And that's just because we're going to split it in half, and half of 90 is 45. Okay, so Brooklyn made a mark. Oh, and you've already gone ahead and kind of extended the lines. That would be the next step. Now you'll come over here, and I don't even need to move the protractor. You'll just come over here. The 40, those measurements are on the other side too. They're just higher on this side. So you'll make a mark at the 45 here. Good job. And it doesn't have to be a whole line. It can even just be a little mark. We'll extend it later, and then we'll rotate and line it up again on the other side. And I'll hold it for you and make a mark again at both 45s. Now you're going to take your 45-inch mark. Try to extend your lines to split these in half. And if any lines don't quite match up, that's okay. You can just kind of fix it as you're doing this part. So this is kind of like, it reminds me of a pizza, because if you order pizzas, usually they're split into 8 slices. So if it doesn't look like a pizza split into 8 mostly equal slices, then you could maybe just make some adjustments. Okay, let's look at this. All your lines should go through the middle. And let's see. The only recommendation would be, I think, this looks smaller than this, so let's maybe kind of adjust this line right here. And then, and some of this, when you look at it, you'll see, like this one is just a tiny, tiny bit smaller than the one next to it, so we'll just kind of adjust that line.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
Maybe like line the circle and
Circle. I like that idea. The only thing is, it's I don't think it'll work because it's an odd number of circles, so they don't each have a matching pair. Okay, so that looks pretty decent. Yeah, you're right. Now, to start the radial symmetry design, I'll usually have students start out with like a little, like a diamond shape in the middle. And, oh, the camera's flying. So, what you could do, oh, exactly like that. Yes, yes, coming from the middle. And then you'd rotate. And then,
I've done this before.
so you've done radial symmetry like this before, great. And rotate and draw another one. What's challenging is trying to have them the same length, but if you just, it's kind of like duplicating each time. Rotate and duplicate, and rotate and duplicate. You have to scoot the camera right here so it's very close to you. Okay. All right, good. There's a little, like an upside down triangle, or actually it's more like an upside down V coming out of the center, and mostly the same size. Kind of looks like a little flower or star-like design on the inside.
Like a dandelion.
Yeah, kind of like like a dandelion.
Like a lilac.
Flowers have radial symmetry a lot of times. Yes, that's a great example out in nature. And if you want to turn this into a flower, then you can definitely erase these lines and draw a little circle in there and turn it into a flower. Flowers have beautiful radial symmetry. And from there, there's several different options that you can do, and I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so Brooklynn's kind of neatening that up, kind of redrawing the lines there. All right, so I'm gonna show a few things on here, but then I'll erase it so that you can come up with a design, Brooklynn. So what you can do, you can draw like a free floating shape, Like, for example, you could draw like a heart and then turn it, and then another heart and turn it, and then another heart and turn it, and another heart, and so on. That's a free floating shape, and it just repeats over and over again. Kind of like in this one, how there's some diamonds floating around out here. Or you could do something like maybe like a wave, which to draw a wave, you could draw like a curve,
Like
and
these?
then like a, well, those sort of, those are some curved lines. This is like a wave,
Ooh,
like in the ocean. Those are wavy lines. So good job noticing the wavy line and making that connection. So, and yes, you can do that.
The lines in there?
Oh, well, describe it to me
The
so the viewer can know what you're talking about.
yellow sun.
Oh, suns, and all those beautiful little abstract sun designs. Those usually have radial symmetry. So that's like a wave design. Erase that. I'm gonna do what Brooklyn did and erase it and then redraw the main lines. You could also do something like, almost like a flower petal. I'm drawing a curved line, and then along each of the main lines, like half of a curved line, and then together they make sort of a flower petal. This would make more of a flower look to it. Or you could make, I didn't finish that, but let me show you something else. Or you could make, I think I need to redraw a whole bunch of this, but let me talk with you about some other ideas of things that you could do. You can do like here, like a fish in each one, or you can just play around with designs with straight lines and curved lines. As long as you do the same thing in each one, it'll have that radial symmetry. Some of these are just designs, just straight lines, curved lines, more diamonds, it has triangles, frogs, hearts, S's. My first name starts with an S. Little flowers. This one, I love this fourth grader. Who was this? I know her name on the back. Addie B. And I remember she moved and left this, and I thought this is a cool example in keeping it. She took that original diamond and she drew it really, really big, like the first line, and she turned it into a princess dress. I thought that was very creative. And I'm going to get an example that I've been working on. Brooklyn, can you work on drawing this? And sorry, you might need to neaten up the lines that I erased while I go find an example that I was working on and find it. I'll have to find it later, but Brooklyn, let me zoom in on this. That's a cool design that you're starting to make around there, and you're keeping it the same distance from the center. Very cool. After you complete your radial symmetry design and you filled up the space with a variety of small, medium, and large shapes, and you probably need at least like 5 different shapes or sections inside each of the 8 wedges, probably at least 5 different. So like this would be, the little diamond would be 1, this section would be 2, that's 2. You probably need at least 5 little sections to make it visually interesting. Brooklyn has spent some time drawing her beautiful radial symmetry design, and she's filled it with interesting shapes. She has a variety of sizes of the sections, like some large ones, some tiny small ones with the little circle and heart, and she definitely has more than 5 sections in each of the 8 like pie wedges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm counting like 11 or 12 different shapes in there. 12? Okay, great. So now she's ready to paint. And for her paint set up, she'll need a piece of slick, like shiny magazine paper. We like to use those in here because then you can just throw it away at the end of class. So Brooklyn, can you please go ahead and tear out some magazine paper to use? And that was your, oh, maybe. And oh, and I recommend even like, that works, but you can also like pull it from the top if it doesn't come out. And then Brooklyn, we have some little acrylic paint colors, and Brooklyn has already chosen these colors. So then let me show you on here. Brooklyn, can you squeeze a little bit of paint? And I recommend only squeezing like the amount that you would have in a dime. Do people your age use dimes and use coins and know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. So just a little bit, because it's like a food buffet. You can always go get more. And you'll also need a cup of water. You don't really need to water down the paint. This would just be for cleaning your brush between colors. Paper towel, and then brushes. And I recommend getting like tiny brushes. So Brooklyn, can you go ahead and choose some of the very small brushes out of there, or at least one small brush to start with? So she's getting a teeny tiny brush. There's a paint, tiny little blobs of paint. She can always get more paint, but you know, just so you don't waste paint, just start with a little bit. You can always get more. And then make sure that it is acrylic paint. Acrylic, it'll say it on the tube, acrylic. It might also say craft paint. If you get paint for this from Walmart or something, it would say craft paint, which is usually acrylic. You want it to be acrylic because that's permanent, and you're going to be soaking this in water to keep the basket reed wet. So this is going to get wet, so you want it to be permanent paint that won't run off in the soaking process. And Brooklyn, are there any tiny pointy ones? Because a teeny tiny pointy one would probably work even better for some of these smaller shapes. I'll peel it. And when you start painting, I recommend starting from the middle and working your way outward. Starting in the middle.
This one?
Small and pointy. Yes, pointy brush is good for getting in details. And again, you don't really need water. You can just go right to your paint. And I recommend starting in the middle. And the only thing I wanted to say about the colors is try to keep it the same. Like if you paint a heart pink or lavender, whatever that color is, paint it like the same when you turn it, and then the colors will have radial symmetry. Like in this one, the diamonds are all red with a white center, and the curved line is all dark blue. When you paint like the very middle, the diamonds in the middle, it's fine to do an A-B pattern. That means two colors, two things that repeat over and over. Like this is orange, and then it's blue, and then it's orange, and then it's blue. Orange, blue, orange, blue. Or even these ones out here, green, orange, green, orange, green, orange. You can do A-B patterns, which might help show your shapes better. So Brooklyn, when you paint this, what were you thinking of doing for the middle?
I was thinking of putting the yellow, like a sunflower.
Yellow. Now, if you're going for a flower look, then it would make sense to do all one color.
Yes.
Because of flower, but that's just, I just wanted to tell you that's a possibility, that you could do A-B patterns in any of this, and it'll still have radial symmetry.
Yeah.
But you can go ahead and start painting, and I'll film you for a little bit in your painting. Remember, start from the middle and work your way outward. And you can clean your brush with the water. If you are switching colors, you can swirl your brush around in the water and then paint onto a paper towel to dry your brush. Try to get a good angle of you. Oh, did I just get that in the paint?
You did.
Okay. Oh, that's all right. I'm going to try to put some of this up while you're painting for a little bit.